The Red Bull saga that began around this time last year is set to continue, despite the team boss being acquitted internally twice. While he has yet to appear in court, the employee who accused him of inappropriate behavior is not backing down. On the contrary, she has decided to take further legal action, with a court session already scheduled for 2026. With all this in mind, should we consider Red Bull a team in serious trouble? After all, it all started with an internal power shift within the Austrian team. If so, could this be the final straw for Person's name and his future with Red Bull? One of the most controversial topics last year was the Christian Horner Red Bull saga, where an employee reported inappropriate behavior directly to Red Bull's headquarters in Austria. This drew significant attention from the entire F1 world, especially from Red Bull's shareholders. In response, the company launched an independent investigation, hiring an external lawyer to examine the allegations. To make matters worse, Jos Verstappen openly supported the employee, stating that as long as Horner remained in charge, the team was headed for disaster. He warned that several high-profile engineers would leave, and that's exactly what happened. Despite being cleared of all allegations, Horner remained in charge, while key figures like Adrian Newey, Paul Monahan, and Jonathan Wheatley decided to leave after decades with the team. However, Horner's era at Red Bull was far from over. He managed to convince the Austrian shareholders, who owned 49% of the company, that he was still the right man for the job. Initially, he also secured the trust of the Thai majority owners, who control 51% of Red Bull Racing. Yet the situation remains unresolved. According to reports from Eric Van Haren, the employee in question has now filed an official complaint, seeking further legal action. She was reportedly highly disappointed that Horner was found innocent, and while Red Bull has not commented on her employment status, their dismissal of her appeal has sparked debate across the F1 paddock. Figures like Zach Brown and Toto Wolff have expressed concerns about how the case was handled. A hearing has been scheduled for January next year. However, British media outlets have reportedly been restricted from covering the case due to concerns over misinformation and potential bias. This is the last thing Horner and Red Bull's legal team need, which is why the team might be worried about what comes next. Whether we like it or not, Horner's support within the team may be dwindling, and the individuals who will take the most satisfaction from this court case are Jos Verstappen and Helmut Marko, as they were among the first to push for Horner's downfall. Internal tensions within Red Bull have been a major talking point. Jos Verstappen has been vocal about how Horner's leadership negatively impacts the team. He stated, "The team boss influences everything that happens within the team, and therefore it affects Max as well." Expanding on the current situation and the team's future direction, Jos added, "I feel like there's more stability at the top of the team now. Helmut Marko seems to have regained some influence, which I think is a positive development. The team is starting to come together again." While some initially saw Jos as the antagonist in this situation, it now appears that many engineers and key personnel were growing frustrated with the internal politics at Red Bull. Rather than continue under the current leadership, they chose to leave. With all these developments, the uncertainty surrounding Red Bull's future is far from over. The performance issues were more than evident, as the RB20 turned out to be quite a failure in the mid-season development war. Verstappen went 10 races in a row without a win, and while you can't pin the blame solely on one person, Horner in this case, according to Jos Verstappen, the fact that Horner remained in his position has definitely put a lot of strain on the team. As a result, mass departures seem inevitable. Warning about this before the official exits were announced, Jos stated, "It can't go on the way it is. It will explode. There is tension while he remains in position." Right after the departures were confirmed, Jos reiterated that this was exactly what he had warned about. Meanwhile, Horner attempted to downplay the situation, insisting that it wasn't affecting the team as much as the media suggested, calling it an exaggeration. However, Jos had a different take, saying, "The team says, 'Oh, it doesn't matter. We have someone else who can take that position. But too many people are leaving now. Max gets questioned about it all the time,' and so on. So yeah, I think it's just not good what's happening at the moment." Now, all eyes are on the court hearing regarding Horner, as it could shake things up within Red Bull. With performance concerns on track and turmoil behind the scenes, the odds seem to be stacking against him. The outcome could also be a clear indicator of Verstappen's future. The three-time world champion has made it clear, if Red Bull fails to build a winning car, he's out. On top of that, Verstappen has stated that his closest allies within the team are his father, Jos, and Helmut Marko. He didn't mince words when he said that if Marko leaves, he and his father would follow. This could be one of the key reasons why a massive shift is brewing within the Austrian squad. Like it or not, it's a reality that could put Red Bull in a very difficult position. All of these questions will likely be answered by January 2026, or possibly even sooner if the RB21 fails to compete among the top three teams. The Bahrain test didn't reveal much, but both Verstappen and Red Bull's technical director, Pierre Wache, were adamant that a lot more work needs to be done to get the car into its ideal operating window. With Ferrari and McLaren looking extremely competitive, it's hard to believe Red Bull can make the necessary leap. Once again, it might turn into a one-man season where the team relies entirely on Verstappen to carry the fight in the Drivers' Championship.